Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people of all ages, welcome back to the Sticky Floors podcast. I'm one of your hosts, CJ. I am joined by Mr. Will. We in black because we talking about gangster flicks tonight. We're doing the town, man. The town. We not townies, but we doing the town. and we're about to break this one down. If this is your first show with us, thank you very much for clicking that button. We also want you to click that subscribe button so you can see every week or almost every week we're in here talking about different movies. Sometimes we do movies that are in theaters. Tonight we're doing a classic from 2010 that's been out for some time, so it'll be a fun discussion. Mr. Will, what's going on with you, sir?
Oh man, I'm chilling out here. How you doing, fam?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. This is gonna be a good one, man. I know, like, this is a movie that we both remember, both have a lot of positive comments for, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be a good discussion about the gangster movie, man. I know this is in our wheelhouse. This is like one of this. If there was a genre of film that we probably like the most collectively, well, gangster, comic book, and then science fiction.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
that
yeah.
order,
I can
though.
see that.
Will we do it in that order, though?
Yeah. Well, I'm the master of the amalgamation, so
Is that like being a
yeah.
master of magnetism? Is that related to that? Is that
No,
like
my
your
joints
cousin?
have
Your cousin? You said your cousin is Magneto. That's what you just said.
my joints have to have like a combination of violence and comedy, or like romance and guns.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes,
So
yes, yes. The calamity. That's your
yeah.
that's your joint. Yeah, the calamity. The calamity is your
I
joint. Yeah.
I didn't agree, but then I started going back over the movies, and I was like, I do like that. So I'm gonna have to go with that, man. But yeah, no, I think your assessment is fair enough. I could see that. I can
Yeah, got
rationalize that.
gangster,
Yeah,
comic book, science fiction.
yeah,
That's our joint.
yeah.
All right. Well, look, we doing gangster tonight, man. So tonight we're doing the town, man. Mr. Will, why don't you drop this synopsis on us? We can get into this one, man.
Yeah, man. This is pretty straightforward. The Town is a gritty crime drama that delves into loyalty, redemption, and consequences of a life built on lies. Doug McCrae, starring as Ben Affleck, starring as Doug McCrae, a seasoned bank robber, leads a tight knit crew known for executing heists with cold precision and efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Though deeply entrenched in the criminal world, Doug's closest bonds with James, Jimmy, or Jem, played by Jeremey Renner, his volatile and unpredictable partner, who's like a brother to him. Doug's world begins to unravel when a robbery goes wrong and James impulsively takes Claire, Kesey, played by Rebecca Hall, a bank employee, as a hostage. After releasing her unharmed, Doug learns that Claire lives in their neighborhood. Driven by curiosity and guilt, he seeks her out. As their connection grows into a romantic relationship, Doug becomes increasingly conflicted. His desire to escape his criminal past and protect Claire puts him at odds with his loyalty to his crew. As he contemplates leaving the life of crime, Doug faces the harsh reality that doing so could endanger everyone he loves.
There it is, man. Yo, the great gangster dilemma. I'm trying to get out. Can I get out without going to jail or getting killed? It's the great. It's the great move, man. It's the great thing. I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen it so many times, but
Yes.
but the thing is, this movie executes. It executes
Yeah.
on it. You know what I
And I
mean?
think that.
But
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I think that you just mentioned something real dope. That's why I wanted to jump in. It reminds me of when we did Heat, having to walk
yes,
away from something in, right then and there,
yeah,
and unfortunately, too many times, man, the guy we're rooting for, he always like, nah, and goes against his own rules, and that's about, like, he brings about his own downfall. Like, there's
yeah.
a clear distinct opportunity where he could walk away and get away jet clean, jet free clean, and it's like, but sentimentality comes into play, man. It kills me every time.
It really does. Yeah, and I know like you a lot of times you want the folks to get
Yeah,
away
man.
in the end, right? I know, like
I'm
that's
not
the thing.
saying that
Like
to say
yeah,
it. Yeah, it
no, that's
kills
why
me.
you wearing all that black, man. You root for
Yeah,
the bad
man.
guys, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah, man.
this is like I like how the movie is constructed. And I think this is co-written by Ben Affleck too, who's in this,
And
and he also
directed.
directs it, right? And
Hmm.
we've talked about Ben Affleck a couple times. So we've done a couple movies that he's been. We did
Hmm.
Reindeer Games. We did
Hmm.
State of Play. So
Yeah.
we've talked about him a couple times. And if you haven't seen those shows, please go check them out. One of the things I always say about Ben is that he does great when it comes to being the goon or the executive. And in this, he's like full goon mode, but it works for him. You know what I mean? And it's like you buy him as the bank robber, you buy him as the person trying to get out of being a bank robber too. And he's caught, like you said, he's caught in this world where everybody he knows is essentially halfway, got one foot in the prison system, one foot in the cemetery, and he's trying to get out of it. And that's the journey in the story that really kind of takes off, as you said, once he meets Claire.
And it irks me to death too, because it's like everyone knows crime doesn't pay. Like eventually, I don't care who you are, man.
A
Like
losing proposition, man. Yeah,
like all the technology and the spy agencies out there, and
yeah,
people dropping a dime on you. Like that eventually you're gonna get caught, man.
yeah,
And but at the same token, I think the brashness and the smugness and the comeuppance that these guys dish out on the cops, so where he's like, "Yo, we can do better than just give you a barbecue. Next time
right.
you
How
come in,
about that? I like that.
yeah,
See,
you
yeah, I
know what I'm
like that.
saying?
I
So,
like that.
so it's stuff like that, you know what I mean? And we love the fact that like the main character, if you will, because I don't want to call him a protagonist, but the main character is always one who's intelligent enough to keep his emotions intact. So whether
Yeah,
it's Robert De Niro in Heat, or in this
yeah,
case, you Ben Affleck as Doug in this movie, where they're giving him the screws and everything, and he doesn't lose it at every particular time. The
yeah,
closest he gets is when he's confronting Fergie, and he's like, "Look,
right.
I live at such and place.
Yeah,
Come
that's one of my
anytime."
favorite
Yeah,
scenes.
I
I love
love
it.
that scene. He's like, "You come by anytime." He
Yeah.
tells him, he's like, "Yo, look, you think they stopped making?" Essentially, he says, "You said they stopped making guns after they made
Right.
yours?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Now the
you got a gun?"
dialogue, yeah. Now the dialogue is good, and it's also got that authentic Boston feel movie, which is
Oh
another
yeah.
staple of so many different Ben Affleck films. Which I also like as well. It's funny, like you just brought up something that made me think about the idea of there's a room that one day, man, somebody's gonna make a meta like a meta gangster film. And what I mean by that is, like how the Scream movies, part of the Scream movies was the awareness that the characters had of knowing that they
Mm,
were in a horror movie situation.
yeah.
So they started like doing things that they thought would not follow the way that a horror movie would go,
Hmm.
only to find out that that's still where they ended up anyway.
Yeah.
One day somebody's gonna make a gangster movie where somebody's gonna say, "Yo, don't say you're trying to get out," because as soon as you say you're trying to get out is when everything goes down the tubes. Or
I
don't
think they,
fall in love with a woman because as soon as you do, that's when it's gonna mess up the business. Like there's a room there for it. I don't know if it probably would become a comedy if you did do it that way,
I was gonna
but
say, yep.
like you're right. Like there's this everybody knows like what's gonna happen, but we still watch it to see how it's gonna happen.
Of course, man. That's why everybody has all these pileups when they see a car accident, because they should drive through and keep it moving. Nah, they weren't. They nosy, they're curious,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
But I think the closest we've gotten is certain sayings. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled
They
me
pull me
back in.
back
You
in.
know what I mean? Like
Yes,
so,
classic.
like it's
God
hinted at
forbid.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the same token, I think your thing is set dead spot on. But it'll be a comedy. Like somehow,
Yeah.
some shape, some form, it'll be like a tongue in cheek, kind of like yuck yuck, nod in a wink type thing, man. Oh, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say rest in power to Pete Postlethwaite, who was actually sick during the filming of this. He plays
Oh,
Fergie,
okay.
the florist, and he ended up
Yeah.
passing from cancer thereafter. So I can
Oh,
only
okay.
imagine the wherewithal that this man was able to like deliver a very powerful and lasting performance while essentially on his deathbed. So shout out to him, man. Like
Yeah, and a
very,
perfect casting too, as as
oh
the
yeah,
as the like the old kind of grizzled like
yeah,
boss, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Who's
yeah,
also
man.
like a florist in his part time.
Yo, he killed that joint, man. He
Yeah,
killed
and
that.
yeah. I like when the gangster is like really dangerous, but then has this like really like nice kind of job that he does.
Yeah.
Like that's a great thing too. Like watching him threaten Ben Affleck's life while he's clipping the rose and being all like specific about making the bouquet. It's like it's just a great juxtaposition between like this very dangerous person doing this very delicate thing.
Dude, when he said, yo, there's two ways essentially when they're talking about, ensuring that horses don't reproduce. And he's like,
Hmm.
yo, I could either snip you, like outright cut you, or the chemical way. And when he
Yeah,
says to him, we got your mom doped up and proper, ooh, yo.
yeah,
And then also even his man knew like, oh, this might be the joint where he
yeah. You
leaps and he
crossed the
cocks
line.
he
Yeah,
cocks
yeah,
the pump with the Moshberg back. I was like, man, he ain't falling for that banana in the tailpipe joint, yo. He's gonna remain composed, but he's gonna get his
yes,
comeuppance. You can't say that, man. It's like I had your dad working for me when he was a kid, and then
right,
he wanted to leave on his own thing. I'm sitting there like, yo, you don't say that, man.
right.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a and the thing that's crazy about that is Fergie is so well known that even the FBI knows that Fergie
Yeah,
is a boss in Charleston, right? And that's like, the John Hamm off like FBI
yeah,
agent Frawley thing.
yeah.
You see they got all the pictures on the wall. And that's another thing. Gangster movies, they always got to have the
Like, yeah,
pictures
you
on
got
the
the
wall
spreads
with
and the
this with the
lines
lines
connected.
going through them and everything. Like it just checks all the boxes,
Yeah,
right? And
man.
it's interesting because like we watch a lot of movies. We watch a lot of
Yeah,
gangster movies,
yeah.
and yet somehow the town executes on a genre that has been had a lot of good movies. Like you said, Heat is a great example.
Mhm.
There's so many movies that have done like this. What do you think is the reason why the town works so well?
Oh, that's easy, man. Oh, that's easy. And it's a multitude of things. The authenticity, because they filmed there in Boston. I think the
Hmm.
actors themselves, because, I mean, like, we could even just take somebody real obscure in the group. There's a rapper in the joint, the bald headed dude. His name is Blaine,
Hmm.
Slane, rather. And actually, he's nice. But I just say that to say, like, a lot of these dudes are from that area, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that northeastern area. So it gives another gravitas to it. Then the other thing too, which I really think is like the linchpin of all this, is that this is a known place that actually had crimes like they're
yeah,
committed,
has the
and
reputation for it. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
and the townspeople, they cover it up. Even when they're introducing the film, and I think this goes
Yes, in the
into our
beginning. Yep.
pre-production meeting where they were like, "Yo, I'm proud that I'm from here, but I hate that I'm from here." And that
Yes.
duality
Yeah.
exists. Everyone can understand that duality. Like I can talk about my siblings, my mom, my dad, my cousins, my job or whatever, but you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
If you say something foul, nah. You have this sense of belonging, community, established roots, a
No
tradition.
doubt.
You know what I
No
mean?
doubt.
And I think like that's inherited, whether it be through the water or blood
Hmm.
ties or whatever have you. And I think all of that pulls this movie together. And I think another thing that explains this phenomena, if you will, is that um, it's like talking about like how dope you are. Like everyone is spoken about like, I'm hungry or I'm thirsty or whatever, or I want to get to the top or I make money. Like it's
Hmm.
in rap, it's in movie or whatever. But how you're able to add something to it or explain it in a way that has never been done before, or an analogy that it evokes such strong emotional ties. And the town does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it really, like Jeremy, this is really a Jeremy Renner coming out party. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
where
Playing what's his character?
playing
Yeah,
James,
Jim. Yeah,
Jim.
yeah, yeah.
And
Hawkeye gets busy in this, man.
yeah, when he says to her, she's like, "Wait, did you say your name was Jim or Jem?" And he's like, "Well, both." He's like,
Yeah.
because his name is James and Jim is a nickname for James. But he says like, "Yo, my teacher's like, yo, this guy's a real gem," meaning sarcastically, like,
Yeah,
"Yo,
in a
he's a
negative
piece of work."
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So him able to kill that scene and even the role,
Yeah.
like it's like you're discovering something new for the first time, so that
Yeah.
everyone can say like, did you see the town? It's got that guy in there, and you act like you can lay claim like you actually discovered him and put
Yeah.
him on or something.
Yeah, the authenticity part is a big thing, and the way that the Charleston area is like a character in and of itself. Because even
Hmm.
when they do the one robbery where they got the nuns things on, everything becomes can they get across the bridge and get to the other side before the FBI can close the bridge? Because the bridge is how they get to
Hmm.
part of their city where they're kind of safe. They can blend
Yeah,
in,
that's
right?
that's home
So
base.
Right. So even like the idea of like, okay, this part of the city is one way, that part of the city is the other way. there's a lot of places in America where it's like, oh, that side is bad, this side is good, right? And
Hmm.
I'm not gonna disrespect anybody's
Yeah.
places by saying those places, but we all know them, right? So
Hmm.
I think like that's something that resonates because we're all like, when you're watching it, I'm like, yeah, I know the part of the city where I grew up in that was like that part where they're
Hmm.
trying to get to because they know in there everybody's safe because everybody's going to be different.
Hmm.
Now, where the plan kind of gets messed up is because they find out that Claire lives where they live, which means there's a chance that she may actually identify them or hear them or see them. And that's kind of where the movie kind of that's where the real friction in the film starts because then it's like, Ben Affleck kind of gets to know her, or Doug kind of gets to know Claire. And initially he's really on let me make sure she doesn't know anything, but then he starts to like her because he sees her as a connection to like an escape to like what he's really thinking about getting out of the Charleston world.
The dope thing about that too is um, he's going with a genuine and like, I got a CYA. You know what I mean? Like, we
Yeah.
can't get caught up in this joint, man. Like, she could blow up our
Mhm.
whole joint. And he's
Right.
angry because that's not what they do. This is a deviation from the plan that he put in place.
Right.
Like, he's
Yep.
very meticulous when it comes
Yeah.
to these things. He's like, yo, all right, I know the background on this guy. The two Lindas would like
Yeah.
you guys to come home. Like, he does his homework. And when he's
Yeah.
telling these guys, like, yo, look, man, I'm not out here just messing around. Like, I'm really putting detail to this, and you throwing monkey wrenches that I have not developed contingency plans for. You can see why they chose him as Batman. This is the
Yeah.
criminal version of Batman.
Yeah.
Like,
And Jim definitely did the Wayne Grow joint. And this he
yo,
definitely did the Wayne Grow. I'm
he
gonna do something
did.
different in the midst of this. That kind of is another reason why the whole thing goes off the rails.
Yeah, especially when you're taking hostages, because now that just adds more federal charges, man. Like, now you're talking
Yep.
about mandatory sentencing. Like, it's one thing if you're robbing a bank, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not condoning it, but it's different. It's different when you kidnapping and murdering people, man. They've never
Yeah.
killed people like that, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they
That
start
was a big
switching the
thing for him.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's messing things up, and it's unnecessary because the first thing Jim wants to do is kill her. Like,
Yeah.
that's the first thing on his mind is like, I'm gonna clean it up, and they're like,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. And he even reiterates this when he's like, then you wouldn't have called me to go, like, where the scene is like, look, we got to go do something bad. You can never bring
Great
it up.
scene.
You
Great
can never
scene.
ask
Great
me
scene.
why.
Classic.
And even then, he shoots him and he's like, what did you do to get my brother mad? Like, what? And then
Yeah.
they're in the car and
And
he's
he
like,
takes off his mask and he shows him his face.
you may know my face, but I know yours.
Yeah.
And then the thing is like, he's like, yo, they're in the car, they're driving, it's silent. Ben's looking at Doug's looking at him, he's looking at him, he's looking at him, he's like, yo, why'd you do that, man? I don't want to kill nobody. You could have killed somebody up there. And he's like, then you wouldn't have brought me.
Yeah.
And right there, that solidified and that reaffirmed his decision to be like, yo, I gotta go.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotta go. If
Yeah.
I stay, I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah.
I
Because these dudes are unreliable in terms of like
yeah.
how they operate. And the other thing is his character, Doug, also has a dad who's in jail right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Steven, who's in jail for, as you said at the beginning, working with Fergie, got
Mm-hmm.
knocked. Now he's doing life. Like he said, what do you
Mm-hmm.
say? He's got like triple life
He said I
sentence or
gotta
something.
die 5 times.
Goddamn five.
Five,
Right. He's
not
got
one,
five.
not
Right.
two, not three, not
Hitting him
four.
with
Five.
The LeBron James Raising
Yeah.
Miami joint. But yeah, man, that's that. But and that's the thing. Like, and Ben Affleck's character, Doug, Ben Affleck in the role, he sells the whole time
Mm-hmm.
the Doug's trajectory. So I believe it that Doug feels like I got to get out of here because my
Yeah.
dad is in jail, my friend is a psychopath or becoming a psychopath, and
Or
Fergie, I don't
is
want
a
to be up under
sociopath at least.
Fergie for my whole life, right? I'm not going with like my dad did, so I got to try to get out of here. And Claire kind of becomes like the pathway for that.
But not just that, man. Like, this dude has like get out of free jail pass, emergency contingency packets throughout the city. Like,
Yes,
this dude's
yeah, yeah,
hopping over fire escapes and hopping over buildings and
yeah,
stuff, pulling
yeah,
pulling bricks out, and now he's got like cash all over the place. Talking about, yeah, I can leave her this other money because you could do
yeah,
more good with it. Like, what? You just
yeah.
got money to burn like that, fam?
Yeah,
Like,
it did feel
wow.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I definitely it's funny. I know like you mentioned like like Doug's character reminds you of Ghost. They definitely
Uh,
when they created the Ghost character. Actually, I'm not gonna say they borrowed from the Doug character, but the parallels
it's
are
very
there
close. It's
because,
very
like,
close.
the whole idea of Ghost in power is like Ghost is always a couple steps ahead, and you see Doug is too because, like you said, Doug got the money stash. He hid the
Mhm.
money in the ground where he knew Claire would still
You
be
got uniforms after uniforms, man. Like, you
cut,
got the
cutting
bus
up the
joint,
flowers and everything. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
and
yeah,
and he wants to get out. He wants to get
he
out of the game.
does.
He's got all these people around him that are so-called loved ones that are like, nah, don't go. We could get one more heist. We could get one more money.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
when's enough enough? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Krista is
ah,
definitely like Tasha. Chris is definitely the Tasha character,
Blake Lively
and
kills that joint, but she
she does, she does,
irks
she
me, man.
does. Yeah,
I want to go
Krista.
too. Why can't I start over? Because you're a drug addict, a bad mother, and a bad person. That's why you can't start over with me.
Yeah,
You could
and
do it on your
and she's
own.
a dealer, and she's also dealing, and so
Yeah, like,
she's got, and that's the thing. It's not just that she's like not a good person, although that's a part of it, but it's also like she's also still in the crime life. You know
yeah,
what I
you
mean? Like
still.
he's trying to get out of it. He's trying to become, as they all want to be, a legitimate businessman.
Nah, she don't want to be legitimate. She just
And
wants to
none of
go
these people
because
want to be legit. You're right.
she just wants to go because she sees that he can have something else with someone else. She's jealous,
And I love
envious. That's
how
it.
and I love how Ham I always want to call him John Ham, but
Manipulative,
I love how Farley tells her that about the Tiffany
manipulative.
necklace and everything.
Yeah,
I love
he
look
knows
that
how to twist that knife, boy.
yo 1000% what I believe an FBI person would do in that
Oh, of
situation. Yo,
course, man. Yo,
1000%. I love that. It's a
manipulative.
it works. It just works on so many different levels, man. And then, like you said, the heists and everything, the costumes very much reminds me of Point Break. You know, like with the
Yeah.
masks and everything, the bank robbery thing. And that's the thing. It's so many movies that you watch and you're like, oh, that reminds me of that. That reminds me of that. Reminds me of that. And yet it still manages to keep its authenticity as its own unique film.
And Point Break is nothing more than Fast and the Furious. If you really
Well,
think
Fast and
about it,
Furious is nothing more than Point Break.
either or, I don't care how you want to
Yeah,
word it.
because
It's all the same thing. But that's the thing that we like about these movies is the commonality. And this movie evokes so many different emotions. Like you remember where you were when you may have seen this or another movie like that, and you love how these characters, like they bring about such a fervent following, like almost like a cult basis, where you're
yeah,
like, man, I really dig this character because he's suave or debonair or charismatic, or you know, everybody has a crazy friend. They may not be to that extent as far as James is, but everybody's got that one dude in the crew where like he's liable to set it off. And you gotta be very careful when you bring him around here. Everybody's been in a relationship with someone who they know is bad for them, but whatever it is, it
yeah, to
stirs that
keep you cooked.
passion. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they keep it going. I think that
Yeah.
this movie, it's no secret. This movie to me is dope on every levels.
Mhm.
I don't have any negativity about this movie, whatever. So when the hate comes up, it's all you. When the cake
It's all
comes
me.
up, yeah, you know what I
It's
mean?
both
Like,
of us.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like when the cake comes up, it's everything for me. But with this movie, for me, like it asks very metaphorical questions, very metaphysical, very um thought provoking questions, you know, on an esoteric level. But at the same time, like it just is what it is. It's straightforward a gangster movie. Like that's
Yeah.
it. There's no rocket science behind. There's no secret sauce or anything. Like it makes me
Yeah.
think, and this is not my hot take, but it makes me think that Ben Affleck is an underrated director. He doesn't get enough
Yeah. It's a
credit
good film.
as a
Yeah.
director.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it makes me feel so much shortchanged that we didn't get that Batman Deathstroke movie, man. Like
I knew you were gonna bring that up. Yo,
uh,
every time we do a Ben Affleck
yeah, I'm
movie,
so
you bring up the Batman
I'm so
movie. Yo,
uh,
I know, man. I know that joint hurt you, man. I know it did because you keep bringing it up.
you know, yo, man, you know, Hollywood
Oh
better watch
man.
out, man. Don't let me on one of
Oh,
them joint.
oh
Yo, if I
man. Look,
find
man. One day,
my,
yo, you're gonna hit the Powerball. You're gonna be able to call Ben Affleck up and say, "Yo, I'm a green lighted. Let's
man, for
do it,
real,
man. Let's do it.
Yo,
Batman versus Deathstroke, man.
I
Let's
will
do
make it
it.
worth your while. I don't care how much money you got. We can get the CGI. You may be too old or whatever. I don't care, man. Like, I just need your voice, or just give us the rights or something, man.
Something.
Like,
Something.
yo, we gotta get that off, man. But speaking of
Something.
Ben Affleck, I'm telling you right now, we gotta do The Accountant too, man. We gotta do The Accountant
The
too.
accountant. Yeah. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Yes.
No, no,
Yeah.
no,
I
no,
know.
not
Well,
part one.
that's
That's coming
in
out.
the that's in the wheelhouse of the things that we like, right?
Yeah, that's why I said, like, yo, when
It's
you
in
talk
there,
about
right?
Batman, Ben Affleck, the like
There it
the
is.
mean guy who's like on the fringe or whatever, like, we gotta
There
do
it
that.
is.
We gotta do
Yeah,
that,
man.
man.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, you said like the idea of there being like certain kind of things that are iconic about the film. The scene where he goes to say, "Yo, we got to get some people. I can't tell you who it is. I can't tell you why,
Ooh,
and we're gonna hurt some people." And he's like, "Whose car we driving? Like, or who's driving?" That
yeah,
scene is on like YouTube clips forever, right?
yeah.
And it's like Instagram clips forever because it's just like a great scene, and there's like just scenes like that in the film. So you know, shout outs to how it's done, and that's a credit to the directing, it's a credit to the writing, and it's a credit to the acting as well, man. So
But
they
that's also a
deliver on this.
testimony. That's a testimony to friendship, though, man. Like
Yes,
that's like the
yes.
joint where it's like, yo,
You know,
it, we
good,
we
good.
all
Yeah.
we all have those conversations. Like, who would you call in the middle of the
If
night
you had
if
to
you
do right, if you had to do something
if
that
you
you
got to bury a
knew
body?
was wrong, who would you call? Right, exactly. Right. And every time I watch this, I always think, if I was in that situation, who would I call? And I know the people. Fortunately, I could say I know that there's at least two, probably three that could do that. So
Yeah,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? So look, you know who it is, man.
You
So,
know who you know.
you know,
Yeah, man.
right. You know, like shout outs to the Diaz brothers, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you know who you who you could do it with if it had to go like that.
Shout out to the brothers, man. Live
Shout
brothers
out.
respected.
There it is. There it is. So, all right, man. Look, let's get into the cake, man. We got I mean, like, you know, this movie's been out since 2010. We know that folks
Yeah.
have seen it.
Mhm.
If you haven't seen The Town, you're really playing yourself.
Yeah, you
Let's
really are
just
playing yourself. Yeah.
let's keep it a buck with that. All
Mhm.
right, man. I'll go first on, well, actually go first on your cake, because you know, if there's
Nah,
anything you want to
dude.
go,
Nah, we've covered my stuff, man.
everything,
From the
everything,
classic
everything.
scenes,
Yo,
the drama, the action, like the cast. Nah, we good, man. It's all
yeah.
you, boy.
I mean, it's gonna be kind of redundant a little bit, man. But the hurt people scene, obviously, great
Mhm.
scene, love it. I love so one of the things that I do like about the story is like how it sort of ties up the notes in the end. So I liked how
Mm.
Doug tells Claire about his mother, because then you see it
Yeah.
reflected in the end when she
Right,
names
right.
the ice rink
Yeah.
after his mom. Which she takes the
Dope.
money, she
Yeah.
does it. I
Very
like that.
poetic.
That was a great, yeah, great, like just tying things up in the ending. You know how I always
Mhm.
feel about that part.
Sticking the landing.
Gotta stick landing. I like when Fergie gets Doug. When Fergie checks Doug, like, dog, I know
Yeah.
you're young, but you know, look, I've been like
I've been
checking
doing
people
this
for a
thing
long
for a
time.
minute.
Right, right. I'm a vet. You know, come on, man. You still get new to this. I like that scene. I like when Doug goes to talk to his dad in jail about his mom's disappearance, because then it comes
Mm.
back again when
Yeah.
Fergie tells him what happens, and then obviously he gets Fergie on the way out,
Yeah.
because he treated Fergie like like Wayne Grove. Like, yo, if I'm going to
Yeah,
Florida,
yeah.
before I go to Florida, I got to get Fergie, because
Yeah.
Fergie, he was talking too slick. I like how they close that out.
But I
And
love how
then,
he does it, like, immediately after, when no one thinks that he got away
yes,
and did it. Like,
yes,
he didn't
yeah,
wait and everybody knew that that
right,
was the next target. He did it like,
right,
now's my
right.
chance.
Yeah, I like
Strategic,
that. Yeah, I like how he did that.
surgical.
And then I like the at the end when Claire talks about it being a sunny day, and how it ties
Mm.
back to the story about her brother dying on a sunny
Yeah.
day. So sunny days are bad, which tells Ben Affleck's character Doug that she's not trying to set him up,
She still loves him, and
which is
she's
dope. I just, you know,
yeah.
I'm not a big heart person in films, but I like how they executed that. Those are the things I loved about the joint.
Mr. Grinch.
That's those are the things I liked about it. So yeah, man, and like you said, everything, I dig it, man. I understand it.
Yeah.
It's on point, man. On the hate part, I'm gonna take the action part off. I'm gonna drop that. Okay, so here's the thing, right? John Hamm, Obviously he's been in Mad Men. He's done his
Mm-hmm.
thing. He's great in that show. By the way, I like watching that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the scene where he tries to check Ben Affleck, it's kind of like one of those scenes where I felt like, dang, Ben is just so much better in this scene.
That's dope,
That
though.
that even though, yeah, but even though I just felt like, oh, I just wanted him to like, how can I describe it? It almost feels like the cop, and maybe this is the intention. The cop is trying to be tough
Mm-hmm.
with someone who's actually tough.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's how it goes. It was something about it just felt a little off to me. That was my one. It's a minor knock, but it's not. Okay, Claire. All right. So when Claire realizes that Ben Affleck is actually part of the people that robbed her,
Mm-hmm.
that robbed the bank, right? So she asks him, like, why'd you have to, have sex with me and
Mm-hmm.
everything? Is this a part of your thing? And have you killed people? Okay, those are good questions, but I think she should also, were you gonna kill me? Ask one of the questions. Like, yo, why did you keep doing all of this? What it was like something? Do you know that? Like, did you want me to go to jail? Something. I just felt like Claire's got to have like 4
Would
or
she
5 more
really
questions.
want the answer to that question?
But
And
this was the thing. And then I like how he circled back and said to her, "Ask me the real questions because you're not gonna like the answers." That
but
was
he
the
said
time
that's
for
how you would know it was true, though.
right.
And at the
And
same,
that's why
but
she
you
need
got
to
to
ask
know
him.
she's still on it. Like, I love the bad boy, and he's
Good.
a bad boy with a
Okay.
good heart, and I could change him. If she asked that question, there is no redemption.
And that's why she needs to ask the question because I need to know if I need to know if you were planning to kill me or not. And the last thing with Claire is okay. So when Frawley, I like how he says to her, what does he say? Like, we're an international organization, Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Sunny days. I
Yeah.
like that. I felt like he should have just said to her, like, yo, you really tried to let this dude get away. I just want to let you know he's still going to be on America's Most Wanted list for the next 50 years. You're never going to see him. And by the way, we watching you too. Take care.
I
Have
don't
a
think
good
she
rest of
has
the day.
to. I don't think they have to. Like, they know what's up when he says goodbye. They know that that's goodbye forever. He knows that, yo, you can't
He
come see me, and I can't ever come
right.
and see you.
But Frawley is already established, as we said, as a manipulative kind of guy. He should have just
Oh,
said
just rub it in
something.
her face.
Yeah, something. You're never gonna see him. He's on America's Most Wanted. Listen, he's probably gonna be in Barbados with another girl named Claire, spending your money. He could have
Oh.
said that. I just want like
Oh.
some burn her up a little bit because she did waste your time. That's it. That's all I got. But even that
Wow.
stuff, minimal things. You
That
have no
is some
hate for this.
that is some vindictive. Yo, oh man, dang, CJ.
Feds. Yo,
Woo,
it's the
that's
feds, man.
cold blooded. Yeah.
It's the feds, man. All right, so you got nothing for this, so you're good.
Nah, man, I love this movie, man.
All right,
This
perfect. Okay,
movie execution is see magnifique. Like,
okay,
yo,
okay. All right, well then let's get to the questions then. All right, I got 5 for you.
all
All right,
right.
first, is Doug out of order, man? In terms of, and let me preface it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Doug ends up dating Claire. He's been dating Claire when the crew thinks that Claire is not an issue anymore. Was Doug out of order? Was Doug out of line?
All's fair in love and war, man.
So you don't think so?
Mm-mm. Yo, there's something wrong with him. He robs banks. He
Mm-hmm.
robs banks. Like, to me, that says it all for me. If
Okay.
you're going to do that, which means you run the risk of killing people, you know your dad has murked people,
Mm-hmm.
you know that you're in a town surrounded by drug abuse, liars, murderers, rapists, like, and there's nothing off limits.
Okay.
He played hockey. They deliberately chose that he played hockey because he
Mm-hmm.
could legally beat up people and inflict harm because he was traumatized.
Okay.
No.
So
Mm-mm.
Doug is out. So Doug is all right. Doug checks out with you.
Yeah.
He's
If you
dating the woman. He's dating the woman that could finger the whole crew and send everybody to jail.
I meant to kill her, but she just turned out to be a lovely woman. She's from town.
All right. She's from she's from the town. All right, cool. All right. That's a take. All right. What's the minimum number of times you think somebody's life has to be threatened before they don't respond to it anymore? Because in gangster movies, everybody gets their life threatened. Everybody treats it like that wasn't like you offered them like ice cream. Like, how many times do you think it takes for a person getting their life? I know this is an objective question because
Mm.
you've never had your life threatened, hopefully. But how many how many times do you think it takes before you're like, oh, I'm used to this now?
I think it goes back to your first question. Like you got to be damaged emotionally.
Okay.
So once you get past that, you're like, okay, so you want to kill me? Don't you know my mom hung herself with a piece of wire? Don't you know my
So once
dad kills people for a living?
so based on what you saw is what
Yeah.
you
It's like,
okay.
yo, that killed my childhood. I literally died a spiritual death already. So you killing me physically, I'm
Mm,
walking dead. There's nothing you can do to
mm,
me. So you pull a gun on
okay.
me? All right.
So you don't care about the
Next.
life anymore.
That's a
Okay.
Monday. Yeah, that's a Monday.
It's a Monday in Charleston. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think Doug ever sees Claire again?
Yes.
You do.
Hmm. I think they get away with it, man. He's in Florida, out in the boonies and the Everglades. I think somehow, some way, she loses the tail, and because it
Interesting.
leaves on an
Okay.
up note, on an upbeat. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, wow, one day in criminal paradise, criminal fairyland.
So and I know So one of the thing I know you saw this too, that there was going to be an alternate ending
Mm,
where Doug gets killed by
nailed.
the guy that him and Jem robbed because
Hmm.
he took off the mask and he
Yes.
showed him who his
Hmm.
face was. So actually, that was one of the endings where he gets killed by those guys trying to
Hmm.
escape. Very Carlitos way-ish, by the
I'm
way, for
glad they
that to
didn't do it.
for
Yeah,
it
I'm
to
glad.
happen that way. So it's interesting to think about how that
The
kind of could have worked out
positive
differently.
alternatives. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, they obviously the directors went along with you that he should get out, so he did.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So gangster movies. We talked about a lot of different things.
Mm.
Obviously, we just mentioned Carlito's Way. We've mentioned Heat. We've mentioned Point Break. All these gangster Rob movies.
Hmm.
What's the latest, best gangster movie that you've seen? Because the town is 2010. We're in
Yeah.
2025 now. What's the last joint that you feel like, oh, this was a great gangster film?
Well, you made a brilliant, I mean, like off the charts comment about gangster movies. And I don't want to mess up the paraphrase, so I want you to say it before what I say. You
Okay,
want to
so
share that with the
thank you. I
audience?
appreciate that. No, I appreciate that. I was thinking about this when I asked this question. Part of the reason why I was asking the question was because I couldn't think of it now, and maybe it's just too many movies in my head right now. But what I've seen over the last few years is a lot of the movies have now become television shows.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at like Power would have been a movie, now it's a television show.
Mm-hmm.
Or you look at like the joint with Sylvester Stallone when he's out in
King of Oklahoma.
yeah, that would have been a movie. Now it's a series. When you look at like Breaking Bad, that would have been a movie. Now it's a series. So many of the gangster sort of shows or gangster shows of today would have been movies back in the day, and it's kind of switched. So I think like maybe the genre itself has been cannibalized by the series format, and maybe it's by Netflix. But if you take that out of the question, what would you say was the last best gangster film that you saw?
Yeah, and I think another joint that you want to add in there is another Jeremy Renner joint, where it's the mayor of Kingston or
Mayor of
something like
Kingston, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Mayor of Kingston, King of
uh,
Tulsa, King of
King
Tulsa. That's
Tulsa.
the
That's
that's
what it
the
is.
joint with Sylvester
Because it
Stallone. Yeah,
is Oklahoma is the
Tulsa,
city.
Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm it. This is more of like a personal thing for
Of
me.
course, yeah, yeah.
Um, so I'm a little biased. I got to see Sakaro when they were like putting it together, like as like a focus group. So that, and I know this is 2015, but for me, it's because like
Cario, yeah, I dig it.
we went to like see it. We didn't know what it was, whatever. It was like total blind focus group, whatever, whatever. And we
Hmm.
go to see this movie, and I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like Josh Brolin gets busy in this
Yeah,
joint. Like, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at all these different actors and actresses and everything, and the way that like I've never watched a movie under those auspices and have
hmm,
it be about that specific topic, like
hmm,
Mexican drug cartels and the
yeah,
FBI's enrollment
hmm.
and this. So it's Sicaro for me, and even the follow up was dope. Like
Caro
I
too, yeah.
like just everything, the way the storytelling and the different components, and you got this attorney who is now
Hmm.
like that's gonna be it for me as far as like a gangster movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you've actually participated as one of the people
yeah,
that they asked, like, what did you
yeah,
think of the film
yeah.
before?
No,
Wow.
no
That's a
publicity, no nothing. Like you could
that's a
even
dope
still see in like
experience.
different parts that they were going to add to it and everything.
Yeah.
Like so, yeah, it
That's
was
dope.
dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was real dope.
that's cool, man. Yeah, Sicario, yeah, great film, man. That's the one where at the end, I forget his name, where he goes and goes to the drug dealer when he's
Yeah,
with
his
his family
house
and everything.
and
Yeah,
puts the gun
great
on the
scene.
table and making them
Yeah,
eat. Even gets
yeah,
the kid. I'm like, yeah, this dude is vicious.
yeah. I
Like
remember that.
the
Great
wife
scene.
and the kids finish your meal.
Every
Like
everybody got
what?
to go. Everybody got
Yo.
to go, man. That's a good one. Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't have one. I would have to think about more, but no, I like that. Sicario it is.
yeah, man. Emily
All right.
Blunt, Benicio
Yep.
what you call it? Benicio del Toro. Like,
That's it. Yeah, he's the guy who does the scene at the end. Yes. Yeah,
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 like they
yeah.
get busy in this movie, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, here's my last question. So, at the end of this film, like all good gangster films, gangster
Hmm.
heist films, the last heist always goes wrong, right? So, all right. So you got the town that goes wrong in the town. You got
Yes.
Heat. Remember the Heat, the Los Angeles street shootout,
Yeah.
and
Yo.
then Takers. So you remember Takers at the end, like after their last deal when Ti rats them out,
Hmm.
and everybody has to try
Right.
to escape, right? All right.
I'm
So
glad he dies in that.
so those three compared, right? Which was the best? The heist went wrong, and we got to shoot it out. Movie, Heat, the town, or Takers at the end.
Out of those three,
Out of those three.
see, it's hard for me to see Chris Brown as a criminal, like a dancing criminal. You know what I mean? But the movie was dope. But it's like, yo, this dude, like he is a smooth criminal. You know what I'm saying? Like I kept seeing an updated Michael Jackson in the joint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it was like I can see why people want to say this stupid stuff about
Yeah.
him being better than Mike, but I'm like, Mike had people fading just by him talking. You know what I mean?
Yo,
Like
the fact, yo, do you realize the irony of you saying I couldn't see Chris Brown as a criminal?
even though
do you realize,
he,
do you realize
yes, yes, yeah,
the human irony of saying that?
yeah, man.
But good. All right, out of those three, man, which one you got?
Which like my mind goes crazy too. So shout out to Den of Thieves too, mind you. That might be
Okay.
one of the other
Okay.
joints like gangster movies that I would probably put up
That's a
there
good
because
one. Yeah.
um
I know it's a tough
it's
one.
gotta be Heat, man.
It's
It's gotta be
gotta be Heat, right? Gotta be
because
Heat.
like that gun scene. Oh, rest in power, Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer,
Yeah, like,
yes. Yes. Thank
you
you
know,
for saying that. Yes,
you know what I
man.
mean. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like because this is '95 and yeah, yeah,
That was amazing, man. And part of it, I didn't see the town in the movie theaters. I saw the town at home, but
mm,
I saw Heat in the movie theater and
mm-hmm.
how that scene was shot, the automatic weapons,
Yo,
downtown, the reverberation of sound, all the things that Michael Mann put into that to make it work.
yeah,
It's a classic scene. And I mean, it's like it was borrowed for the beginning of the Dark Knight. Like
yeah.
the beginning of the Dark Knight works so much like that. Yeah, man. It's I like that though. Yeah.
And that's
Shout out.
based on a real life joint though too, like where those
Yep.
guys robbed that bank and they on the armored suits and they just licking
Yep.
everything off. Yeah, man,
Yeah,
it's the
which we talked about in the episode where we did
yeah,
Heat. So if you haven't heard our Heat breakdown, go check
yeah.
it out. I don't remember the number, but it's in the list, man. Normally I have those ready for you, but that's
Yo,
great. It's
those,
maybe while you're doing your hot take, I'll look at it. But
yeah, no
all right,
doubt,
man.
no doubt.
Popcorn boxes on the town. What you got, man?
It's classic, man. I got five, yo. I got
Five,
five
five. There
boxes.
it is. Yeah, man. All right. I'm. Oh, is it five? Is it
It's five
five? Is it
boxes, man.
five? Is it five? Ah, it's 4.5 for me. It's 4.5 for me, man. It's 4.5 for me.
This guy,
It's four and
yo.
a half for me, man. You know what the thing is, man. We talk about this. What messes me up is I can't help but compare the movie to something else that I
I
saw.
know. I
You know what I
know.
mean? So it's like I love the town, but I love Heat a little bit more. I know Heat was like the 5-star joy for me,
Mhm.
so that's me. But that's my thing.
Not, but I
Either
look at I get where you're coming from. Like you're doing a comparison and a contrast. I'm looking at it
yeah,
like, yo,
the
this
standalone
is
film itself. Yeah,
I've
It's great.
heard Big Daddy Kane, I've heard LL Cool J, I've heard Rakim, but I'm like, yo, Fabulous is nice. Lloyd Banks is nice. Like Jadakiss is nice. You're like, yo,
That's a
I've
good.
seen this movie before, but yo, these dudes
That's a
get busy
good.
too. So
That's a good reference point. Now you know if we started doing like top 5 rappers, this joke would go on for 50 more minutes, and we ain't doing that. We'll say that for the sticky. Look, Mr. Will be rolling out the Sticky Floors music podcast where he will get in that because that I'm not. Those are like third rail. You know, the black community, man, we fight people over who's your
oh,
top five.
no
Who's your
question.
top 5 rapper, man?
Potato
That's
salad. You
yo,
know, potato
the
salad
macaroni and
and
cheese,
cheese.
right? Who got the best? Who got the best mac and cheese? Who got the best potato
Michael
salad?
Jordan and LeBron James.
Oh my god, that's yo. Whenever they want to provoke like black people, that's what they're like. Yo, let's talk about who's better between LeBron and Mike. ESPN does that show every 2.5 months. They do that just to get views because they know it's gonna be viral and it's gonna aggregate and mess people up. All right, man.
I got
That's the
questions
box.
for you. I got questions for you though, fam.
Oh, that's
Well,
right. You got. Oh yeah, my bad. Go ahead, shoot me. Hit me, man. Hit me.
all right, here we go. Number
My fault.
one.
My fault.
Nah, we good. Nah.
I got excited talking
Yeah,
about
I was gonna say,
yeah.
nah, I get it,
Talk
man.
about takers and the town and heat. Go ahead, man. Give me your questions.
And Chris
Yeah.
Brown being a smooth criminal.
Yo, that messed me up when you said Chris Brown. You couldn't see him. That was funny. All right, good.
Oh man. So question number one. Now we know we've talked about it ad nauseum about Doug wanting to leave and
Mm-hmm.
whether or not he deserves the right to break free and all this other stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, can a person truly escape their past?
No,
Mm.
no, because people won't let you.
Wow. So it's not even a question of bringing your problems with you, transporting them elsewhere. It's just that the people around you.
Yeah, they just won't let you do it, man. Like,
Mm.
remember how? Now it's a great question because I was thinking, what if you atone for what you did?
Yeah.
You know, like this movie's a little different because Doug kind of gets away with it,
All
right?
right.
But let's say Doug got caught, and let's say Doug, for some reason, he does like 5 years or 10 years, he gets
Mm-hmm.
out. He's still going to be known as a bank robber.
Ah,
He goes to try to find a job. He's going to have a
job.
felony conviction
Can't
on his
vote.
record. He's still, like he will. He's never gonna escape doing that. Like it
Scarlet
reminds
letter.
me, it reminds me of Michael Vick. Remember Michael Vick? Man,
Yeah.
he went to jail, he did the time, he came out. Every broadcast, I remember every broadcast, they would talk about Michael Vick, he'd be playing great, and in the middle of it, they would say,
Dogs.
convicted for, killing dogs and everything, went to jail for 2 years. It would always
No.
come up. And it's just gonna stay with you,
Yeah.
and I don't think depending on what you do, nah, they're not gonna let you forget it.
That's
Even
tough right
when you
there.
atone, you paid your quote unquote debt to society and you're
Mm-hmm.
done, people will just bring it back up.
Wow, that's tough right there, man. Yeah, I agree with that. Wow. I didn't look at it like that.
It's unfortunate, but they're
Yeah.
not gonna let
Nah,
you.
especially with the Michael Vick joint, that crystallized it for me. Good answer. Good answer. All right, so now we're talking about, the relationship between Doug and Claire, and you get glimpses that there's a better tomorrow. Shout out to Wu
Mm-hmm.
Tang.
Mm-hmm.
And you got these questions that are evoked, and one of them being, is love enough to basically change someone?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that Doug is thinking, I want to get out, but Claire is the first person he meets that's in like his world every day. That's
Mm-hmm.
not in where he's from. And
Mm,
it's not in the lifestyle. So she becomes like the representative of like what getting out looks like.
mm.
But she's still tied to his world because she's essentially a victim of one of his crimes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
byproduct of that. Mm.
Yo, it's like Ghost thinking Angela was his way out, but Angela is is an agent, man. Like
Ah,
she's involved in the universe of his world and problems. He could have and I mean, like we'd have to do a whole show about power.
yeah. I
That
was
would
gonna say
be
you
that would
about
be
to you about to say something,
I
man.
know,
Because
power's a third rail issue for you, man. But the point is like, nah, I don't think that that's gonna change him. I think Doug just he was trying to think about how can I get out, and Claire became like a representative or a totem of what that looks
I like that. A totem of what? Woo, you
like.
smoking?
Yeah,
Yo,
no, I
you.
was reading. I was reading this weekend, man. Reading some
Yeah, I
books.
see you over here cooking with fish grease, boy. Woo! All right, my last question for you then is this, man. So, we like to pride ourselves on being loyal and committed and devoted in any and all aspects of our lives. Um, but now you got these criminals. I mean, like, and the saying, there's honor amongst thieves and all this other
Mm-hmm.
gibberish. But now it raises the question of the possibilities of like, all right, you're about to break free, you're about to start off fresh, whatever have you, but trying to get out, but they pull me back in,
Yeah.
and got a really succubus, trying to clinch their teeth into you. Especially like you mentioned, you're surrounded by this criminal element. So my
Mm-hmm.
question to you is, can someone truly break free from their past?
So in the movie, I think the loyalty part is really it's shown. I think the best scene for that is the scene where I keep wanting to call the dude Hawkeye, man. Jeremy
Yeah.
Renner. I know that's not easy. This. All right.
Yeah.
We know the scene where so Jem and Doug get into that fight, right?
Yeah.
And Jem actually pulls the gun out on him,
Yes. Where's the
right?
loyalty?
But he doesn't shoot him. And I think that was him being loyal to the relationship that they had.
Mm.
Because if they're criminal in the criminal mastermind in the criminal enterprise, like Doug kind of is violating. Like he's close. He's with them that could get us in trouble.
He didn't rat.
It's
He
my
didn't
that's
give.
my that's my this is my perspective, right? But Jem lets him go. And I
Hmm.
think like he's willing to let him go on and do something. I
Hmm.
think the loyalty is about, can you be loyal to someone when they're not doing what you would do? Because like that's the real bench of it. Like there's gonna be people in your life that are gonna do things that you don't like, right? And they may let you know what they're doing. And sometimes
Hmm.
like it doesn't have to be like, rob a bank or something. It could be just regular stuff like, I'm gonna become a vegan, whatever, whatever the case is. Whatever. And you might be like, yo, but we get steak every Thursday, man. Like,
You
I
breaking up
can't
our
message you no
ritual.
more, right? Right? You breaking up our hangout. You're like, nah, I'm gonna bring like some vegan steak, man. I'm gonna lay down this eggplant steak, whatever the case may be, right?
Eggplant steak.
You gotta decide, like, okay, I see you're trying to do something else. What my loyalty is to you as a person, not necessarily the changes that you make, because whatever, that's your evolution. It's a
Mm.
hard question. It's a hard question to ask. I think the loyalty is tested by whatever is your personal breaking point. I think what Jem was saying in that scene is like, Doug, I get it. You're trying to get out. I want to stay here. I like this life. I like what I'm doing. You might not. Cool. You can go do something else.
Wow, that's tough. I don't know if he says though it's okay for you to go do something else when he's like, "Yo, you better come up with this plan so that we can
Yeah.
go rob the
Yeah.
church."
Yeah. And he told him, it's the last one.
But
It's
he
the
also
last one. I'm
told
not
them
doing.
too, like, "Yo, we holding court in the streets." Like, yo,
Yeah.
he's like, "So what if this goes wrong?" He's like, "Then we holding court." I don't know if
Yeah.
Ben is with that, yo.
He's
But then
not. He's not. He wants to get out. He wants to, right. He wants to get a regular
when they
job.
trapped in that tunnel in that parking garage, I
Let's shoot
think
it out.
Jem, I think Jem likes to see that Ben's there thugging it out with
Yes.
him. I think he's like,
Absolutely.
yes, I got him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But Doug wants to ultimately become the manager of a Costco in Florida. That's what he wants. That's what he really wants to do. He wants to do logistics and timesheets and be like,
He said,
Benita's got to come in from 10 to 12 and Harold's got to be here from 8 to 5.
"Oh man,
Wow,
yo,
look at how efficiently I'm running this Costco right now because
dude, you are
I'm
shot out." He
because I'm a
said,
criminal mastermind. But now I've decided to apply my, like, hold up. Okay. Like how they always say,
"Oh, if
all
he
the
sold
people that are
drugs and
like,
he could be a Fortune 500
right,
CEO."
right, exactly. This is the this is the town version of that, right? Look, you were a great bank robber, so you're gonna be a great manager at Costco too, man. He could be, he'd be fine, man, until the boys come and pick him up, man.
Yeah, right. You tell me how you're gonna handle that situation.
Right, right. All right, man. Hot takes, Mr. Will. What's your hot take, man?
Oh man, easily. We had pretty much like speculated, or I did rather speculate about it, but the town is the white version of Set It Off, yo. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like I They got four people.
Wow.
What is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
let me
four
yeah,
people.
good.
Four white
Yeah.
four white dudes, four black chicks.
How
They rob
about that?
banks, inside knowledge. All
How
of them have some
about
type of
that?
grievance against like the system. Oh,
How
shout out to
about that?
John McKinley. Like
How about
they both
that?
have like that powerful guy who was the it guy in Hollywood for a minute, John Hamm. Like the very good character actors who could potentially be leading men.
How
Um,
about that?
yeah, basically all of the people that you kind of like, they all get murked except for the
How
one person. Jada Pinkett rides off into the sunset.
how about
Ben
that?
Affleck, yeah, man, yeah,
Yeah. You know what, man? It answers a question. Sometimes when I watch these movies, I always think like, what would happen if all the characters were black? And it was the same
hmm
thing. You just answered it for me.
yeah,
Thank you.
no
Salute.
doubt. Even
Salute
the
to that.
gender roles switched up, man.
Right,
So,
right. You switched.
you
Right, you did. Right, you did the MCU joint.
yeah,
All right. So anyway,
the
so
MCU joint,
switch the gender
classic.
and the race. Right.
Shout
How
out to
about that?
Marvel and Disney.
Right. How about that? How about anyway? All right. So here's my hot take. My hot take is the town is a metaphor for Ben Affleck's leaving Boston and becoming a Hollywood star.
Wow. Okay.
And that like
Oh.
basically it's a dramatic telling of what happens when you're from a place and you decide I want to have something different, and you know
Mhm.
that means you got to leave behind a certain part of your life that you had before. And it
Wow.
doesn't mean like it's not the criminal part is the
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. No,
movie
no, no.
making part of it, but there are people sometimes who are faced by that. I want to go here. I have this dream. I have this thing I
Mhm.
want to pursue, but to pursue this dream, I have to leave behind the people that I love and the town itself that I love because I need to go here and do this thing.
And
So,
they view that as an act of betrayal or criminal.
yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Casey
And
Affleck and Matt
there,
Damon.
there. So that's what I think he's trying to do with the town, man. That's why I think it's like a little bit of a personal, and all
No,
the
that's
all of these
dope.
stories are like personal stories in that way, man. So
Yeah,
that's my
no,
hot take.
I dig it, man. Meta.
That's
Wow. Okay.
meta analysis of the town, man. The
Yeah,
town. What if
macro and
what if
wow.
the
Okay.
town got gender switched and race switched, and then
Yeah,
the
macro,
metaphor,
micro. I
yeah,
dig
meta
it.
story of you can't leave. You can't go back home, like whatever
You
that
really
that's
have
saying.
been reading, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Look,
Woo.
my library card is on fire right now. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, man. So look, that's our breakdown of the town. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, please like, subscribe,
Yes,
share.
yes.
We do this as seasons, and our seasons are 11 episodes long. This will be the last episode of our season 7. So we're gonna take a couple weeks off, man. We're gonna go down Barbados, man, and do some stuff, have ourselves some fun and a good time. I'm joking, maybe. So we're gonna do that. So we'll be off for a couple weeks, man, but we will be back with some more films breakdown. But we got 80 something waiting for you right now, nearly 80. Once again, the Sticky Floors podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Spotify Podcasts, we are on YouTube, where we want you to like, subscribe, and share. Check out the long form videos, check out the clips as well. Check out our breakdowns. It's all interesting stuff. And we will see you again in a couple weeks. Peace.